Workout routine overview. What is this? Does it feel a little spooky that if Trump f***s over Tesla and Elon got mad enough, he has access to the whole government basically? Elon's access only comes through Donald Trump. I don't think Elon would have any access at all. Jesus, why? That swing set one happens in Mickey 17. Yeah, that whole part is also stupid. God, that movie was so bad. What is bro training for? Once he gets strong enough on these lifts, he'll be able to dunk his face into an expensive bowl of water 6 times per day. Have you seen any David Lynch movies? Somehow I feel like I've like dodged every David Lynch movie. I don't know if I've seen a single one. I have no idea. Like, I don't know much about like Scorsese, but then people will say like, oh, what about this? And it's like, oh yeah, I've seen that and that and that. Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of Scorsese films, but I don't know if I've seen a single David Lynch film. I don't know how, because apparently it's really good. I should watch these, I guess. Or wait, maybe they're not that famous. I have not seen The Elephant Man. I've heard of this. I haven't seen it. Didn't see the 84 Dune. Mulholland Drive. I didn't see this. Maybe it's not. Okay, never mind. Maybe. When did this fucker die? Oh, he died in 2025. Where the fuck are the movies from the last 20 years of his life? Did he just stop making them? Because they sucked. You would hate David Lynch. Oh, okay. Well, fuck that. Peak Cineslop. Oh yeah, Scorsese. I've seen so many of his films, and I don't like try to. But I probably would like almost. Maybe I would like all of them because I don't know, the things I've seen I think I really like. I thought Gangs of New York I thought was pretty good. The Departed was great. Wolf of Wall Street was amazing. Shutter Island was good. Don't remember. I think I saw Taxi Driver, but it was too long ago. I wouldn't have been able to appreciate it. Same thing with Casino. I watched Casino a long time ago, but I think I was too young. I don't watch old movies, so I haven't seen a lot of these. He forgot to write down his film ID and killed himself. Testing, can you see this? No. What about Stanley Kubrick? Have I seen more than just The Shining or whatever? Oh, A Space Odyssey. Ambition. Oh wait, I have Eyes Wide Shut is with Tom Cruise. Full Metal Jacket. This is like the movie that's broken into 2 parts, right? I feel like I mixed this one up with another one. Apocalypse Now or something. This is the one that... Yeah, okay. Charlie Kirk making fun of him. Wait, what?
Not many things.
Tim Walz couldn't load a shotgun. JD Vance can perfectly shoot an M240B medium machine gun at Quantico. He literally has a guy with his hand on his shoulders, and he's shooting a bipod-mounted machine gun while prone. What is the... What? Okay. Wow. I have seen that JD Vance seems to be on his gun LARPing arc now. Yeah, I saw him in like a full tack fest or something, I think yesterday on Twitter. Charlie Kirk doesn't know how shotguns work. Remember that next time he acts like an authority on something he's ignorant about. Let's talk about Tim Walz's shotgun mishandling. 15.5 minutes. Because Walz didn't know how to... I think Walz didn't know how to unload the shotgun that he was using. What, do we need a 16-minute video explaining that? Or he either didn't know how to unload it or the mechanism was stuck. Wasn't JD in the Marines? Why would this be a supersized? He can fire a gun. Well, there was a thing. I feel like I saw him in like a full vest outfit. Wait, read the part under first text. What, this? Or what part do you want me to read? Do you know how to unload Walz's shotgun? Yeah, but only because I looked it up after everything happened. But I wouldn't have otherwise. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. The shotgun that Walz was using, there's a I can't show you because on YouTube we're not allowed to touch our guns. But there's an internal magazine on the bottom of the shotgun, and in order to get the shell to fall out of the internal magazine and come into the tube, into the action, you have to. There's like a button you have to push, and Walz either wasn't managing to push it or didn't know that button was there. I don't know. Let's talk about Tim Walz shotgun mishandling. What about this? Most people who accused Tim of not knowing how to load a shotgun inadvertently admitted how little they actually know about shotguns in the first place. This video should help clear things up.
More annoying than an anti-gun politician who just gets something fundamentally wrong about guns. They either say something wrong about guns, they handle guns, and sort of make a fool of themselves. However, one of the things that I think is more annoying and more aggravating than that is when a quote-unquote pro-gun person comes along, tries to correct something this anti-gun person did, but the pro-gun person ends up being wrong about the thing that they're trying to correct or wrong about the thing that they're pointing out. In so doing, right, it's like the anti-gun person is already in a wrongness sandbox, and they're on top of the Mount Stupid of the sand in the sandbox. And for whatever reason, there's an inclination for pro-gun people to just knee-jerk reflex, jump into the sandbox, and try to be more wrong than the anti-gun person who was wrong in the first place. The more you look for this phenomenon, I think the more you'll find it happens constantly, especially with the AR-15 debate. It's very common to see. But of course, today we don't have an AR-15. We've got a Beretta shotgun because, of course, vice presidential candidate Tim Walz went pheasant hunting with a Beretta shotgun. And there was an interesting video clip that came out of that, and we'll include that video clip from a better angle and with more full context here in this video, since I don't think enough people really saw the full context, because of course it makes things a lot more clear. But that's going to be the point of this video, is pointing out that what Tim Walz was doing was clear enough for people to not get wrong, yet a lot of people got it wrong, because a lot of people that are quote-unquote pro-gun, right, your right-wing pundits, gun tubers with millions of followers even, turns out they don't know very much at all about shotguns. So hopefully this will be a little bit informational about shotguns, as well as a little bit, not philosophical, but introspective as far as how do you get better at knowing when someone's done something wrong with a gun. Because of course you don't have to know much about guns to see Tim Walz fiddling around with his shotgun to go, that looks awkward, the hell is he doing? But you do have to know a little bit more about guns than the bare minimum to understand what he is doing wrong.
How did the gun guys on YouTube get away with it then? Like Demon Ranch, is he just fully demonetized? You can make videos with guns, you just can't live stream with guns.
Specifically. And after watching all of the footage of him pheasant hunting, it's like a combined 3 hours of footage I've sat through at this point, he does do a couple of things a little bit awkward during the hunt. Like it looks like at one point he pulls the trigger when the gun's unsafe and flinches terribly. Maybe that's what's going on again, it's hard to see from the footage. But besides that...
That way, they posted a full 3-hour video of him pheasant hunting, is that true?
The rest of the hunt just ranges from like, slightly awkward, maybe he's not the most comfortable around the gun, to the display that we saw, that edited clip from, where he's like fumbling with the shotgun and it's not immediately clear what he's doing. However, the reaction from quote-unquote pro-gun people, right, the thing that I'm pointing to they all got wrong was that most people were saying, and by most I mean the NRA...
Wait, where is this Walz clip again? It's been a long time. Link it. Let me use the restroom real quick also. Hold on 1 second. Probably don't want gun accident streamed live. It would be an accident. Is it this?
Well, vice presidential nominee Tim Walz doesn't exactly exude alpha male energy, and his weekend hunting trip hasn't helped.
No thing based on this vision.
Quite theory, and it never fits quite right. Never fits quite right. Just not quite right. How do you give it back?
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
This is a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap, because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. A lot of trap.
I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to, so in a shotgun, you have your barrel that shoots, the thing goes through here, and beneath the shotgun, this little thing is an internal magazine, okay? You've got a little pussy right here, okay? The cartridge pussy is, and you pop a cartridge up into here, and then you load it past the pussy protector here, and it goes in, and then it's held in this internal magazine. But if you want to extract the shotgun shell, at least out of this shotgun, in a lot of like firearms, like if we had a pistol, or if we had like an AR-15, or a bolt action, anything that has like a manual action that you cycle. I think in most guns, you just cycle the action and it'll go through all of the rounds on your internal magazine or whatever magazine you have. But at least for this shotgun, I don't know if it's for most shotguns. I actually have no idea. I don't know how to unload a shell for my shotgun from the Benelli, actually, but because he usually does, I fire them all by the end of the range. So it might have a similar mechanism. I don't know if I've tried before. But in order to unload a cartridge, do you call them cartridges for shotguns? To unload the cartridge from the internal magazine on the shotgun, there's a little button, I think, down here that you have to press to get this cartridge to come back into here for you to cycle the action, I think, for it to come up into here. And Walz is either not hitting that button right or he's not realizing that and he's just cycling the action, wondering why the cartridge isn't coming out into the action. But
Because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff.
There are no words. Joining us now is journalist and commentator Brad Palumbo. Brad, thanks for your time. This guy...
You call them shells? Would it be a shotgun shell instead of a cartridge? Okay, maybe there's shell. But I'm pretty sure that's what was going on with that. But
Big gun tubers, news media outlets, right, everything was saying that Tim Walz doesn't know how to load his shotgun. Now, even if you've only ever seen shotguns in movies, I think you'd be able to identify the fact that Tim Walz wasn't trying to load his shotgun. Even from the bad video angle, you can see the loading port, and he never makes a motion like loading a shotgun.
You don't do it. That's my theory. And it never fits quite right. Never fits quite right. It's not quite right. How do you give it back? This is a Beretta 8.
like him looking into the action, I think he's trying to look to see why the cartridge or the shell isn't coming out.
I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
I'd imagine you could just pump it over and over again and empty the shells. No, you can't. You can't just pump it over and over again. That's the thing. If there's, I don't know why, but you can't. I don't know how it works. You just can't. You have to push the button on the bottom to get it to release a shell into the injector. There's a name. There's real names for these things, but.
It never fits quite right. Never fits quite right. It's not quite right. How do you give it back?
What kind of gun is it?
This is a Beretta 8400.
Someone said because it's a semi-auto and not a pump. Oh. Yeah, okay, that could make sense.
I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
However, he does make a series of motions, even in the edited video clip, that are quite clear that he's trying to unload the shotgun. Fundamentally different, easy to identify the difference. Yeah, at this point, I think millions of people have made the fundamental mistake of confusing the two. It's sort of a failing, I think. And so hopefully we can do a little bit of education here. So what's our test mule here today? I'm sure there's already somebody in the comments typing, well, your shotgun's not blue. That's true. This one isn't blue and Tim Walz's is. However, this is an AL391 Eureka, sort of a predecessor to the A400. It does have a different gas system. The bolt is a tilting instead of a rotating, but the way the feed mechanism works is the same. The way the gun is loaded and unloaded is the same. The way the gun tinders shells from the magazine
Does this really need a 16-minute video to explain this?
to the chamber is the same. So we have ourselves a representative guinea pig for the manual of arms that are relevant to the gun that Tim was using. So, to sort of jump right into things, loading and unloading on this gun, just to sort of show you the difference in how they look, as well as to sort of walk you through the steps that Tim would have had to have gone through. So, loading it is fairly easy for your first round. Drop it into the action just like that. Push the button to close it. We'll go ahead and kick steps that are relevant to that Tim would have had to have gone through. So, loading it is fairly easy for your first round. Drop it into the action just like that. Push the button to close it. We'll go ahead and kick the gun on safe, since we are using hyper-realistic snap caps today. The remainder of
Damn. I don't put my first round right into the action. I usually put them in the magazine. Am I a loser?
the shells to load this gun, just go in the loading port. Very easy. No need to hold down any extra buttons or anything. Just go ahead and fill up the tube like so.
So he's trying to unload unfired shells in the clip. Yes, that's what it sounds like he's doing.
Now, at this point the gun's loaded. He took it off safe, pulled the trigger, it would fire. However, in hunting, there's sort of, I mean, I guess I should preface by, he was pheasant hunting, right? And just to address this quickly, some people were saying, well, if you had more than 3 shells in the gun, that's an illegal. You can't shoot birds with more than 3 shells in the gun, which is a misunderstanding of the Federal Migratory Bird Act, and some states have their own version of it, but that applies
Is that true? In the United States, you can't have more than 3 shells loaded in your shotgun for pheasant hunting? What?
to migratory birds. Pheasants aren't migratory, and I'm not aware of any state that has pheasants that also has a 3 round for all birds sort of law going on, so no, I don't think Tim did break the law, because additionally, at every point across the video, I don't ever see him touch a gun that has, there's never proof he has more than 3 rounds in the gun, and in fact, in the full clip of him unloading, he gets 2 shells out of it, and that's it. The gun's empty at that point. So I don't think he had more than 3. He may have only had 2, but I think it would be reasonable to assume maybe he's got 3 because with sort of factory limiting plug in this gun, right? You get 1 in the chamber, 2 in the tube. Your traditional 3 rounds that you use for migratory birds, but obviously not migratory pheasants. Migratory pheasants would be weird. But in hunting, right, there's 2 kinds of unloading. I'm going to refer to the first as sort of an administrative unloading, and the second as a total unloading. An administrative unload is something you do where, like at the end of walking the field for pheasants or these sorts of things, you need to make your chamber of your gun empty because you're going to get in a vehicle, because some states have laws regarding having a loaded gun while hunting in a vehicle specifically to prevent you
What the fuck? Is this America?
from like shooting stuff from a vehicle because that's non-sporting to some people or whatever. However, because of laws or regulations or rules or whatever, you will come into instances where you need to make the gun safe in terms of not having you around in the chamber. This is also sort of commonplace in hunting for jumping fences, jumping creeks, wading creeks, climbing rocks, these sorts of things, because especially older shotguns can inertially fire, right, where you drop the gun and it causes the gun to go off, and that's mostly because shotgun primers are fairly sensitive compared to other primers, and they're also rather large. But as a result, some shotguns anyway, can fire inertially. So if you're going to go across a creek, you'll want to make the gun safe. So to do an administrative unload, it is fairly straightforward. If you're crossing a creek or getting on a vehicle or whatever, just go ahead, jack the round out of the gun. And with the Berettas, no matter how many times you pull that charging handle, it's not going to get another round out of the mag.
Oh, see, so the magazine isn't unloading any of the rounds. There's a little button I think he's going to push. The little shotgun clit. This thing I think is what he has to do.
Because of the way the magazine system works on shotguns, right? It has to have a series of compromises in terms of how it works, such that you have to be able to load the gun when the bolt is forward, which means it can't be trying to feed a shell when the bolt is forward. So you need a sort of interstitial system that will release a shell after the gun is fired. It's basically the way that works out. So, because again, you need the gun to feed when the bolt is forward or on its way back, and you can't really get that to happen unless you have a different internal mechanism, because you want to be able to just feed rounds straight into the tube like so. But because of that, for unloading, administrative unloading, with the Beretta, it's very easy. You pull the bolt back, and now there's nothing in the gun. I mean, if you'd like, sometimes it's common to use a shell as a chamber flag. Sort of the other advantage there is, see if I can do it, see if I have the hand dexterity. You pull the bolt back, rotate the shell like that, and then you're ready to shoot quickly.
Jeez.
But otherwise, the gun is very obviously safe, won't fire, drop, these sorts of things. So that's an administrative unload on this gun. However, in the video, we can be sure Tim wasn't trying to do an administrative unload. He was
I think for a lot of these laws, the hunting laws, they don't matter, because if a cop pulls you over and he's like, well, I'm going to do a shotgun check real quick, and you've got like 5 rounds or 5 shells in the shotgun, and they're like, well, this is clearly illegal. You say, whoa, I'm not hunting pheasants. I'm going to go shoot up a school. And the cop's like, okay, good luck, soldier.
Trying to do a complete unload. Again, in the full context of the clip, you are able to see that pretty clearly. However, the edited version of the clip that's not as clear, however, again, we can be sure he's not trying to load the shotgun. He's definitely trying to unload it. So what we'll do here is address this button. So Berettas have this button here, and the mechanism this button triggers is sort of also governed.
Okay, I don't know why this video needs to be 60 minutes long. Okay, don't care. Charlie Kirk clearly doesn't give a fuck about guns. He's a city dude. We get it. J.D. Vance has embraced the tactical identity, though. And is now, I don't know what changed or what happened or if this is a thing, but now he's a big gun dude. I know I saw a picture of him in a fucking vest lately. Like yesterday or something.
We care about if you then make more quotas, that is walking corners. Just
whatever. Look at how brave this guy is. I'm gonna go get me some immigrants. I'm gonna go round them up. Let's go. Let's fucking go. If I was Zelensky and I saw this, I would kill myself. Oh my God. Just the Vice President of the United States sending some freedom seeds downrange. Oh, never mind. Fuck me. Just kidding. Maybe he does know how to shoot. Maybe, or somebody said he was in the military. I guess even if you don't have a combat position, you have to, you probably train with a weapon. I feel like if you see like people, amateur shooters, or they're posing or whatever, I think the 2 biggest things you see is usually a person is standing up straight or leaning back, because it's just the tendency. And usually the elbow is flared super hardcore when like people are LARPing about like holding rifles. But it seems like his elbow's appropriate. Leaning forward. Gun up to his eyeball. Shooting down range, looking for those Venezuelans. Identify the gun. I don't know what it is. Just always say M4. And then you're going to be right like 80% of the time. Or if you want to sound really smart, be like, that's lower receiver is an M4. Because I think lower receiver is the only thing that actually identifies the gun. Upper receiver can be whatever, so. Fuck, somebody said M16. Well, fuck me. Isn't that like the same weapon? I don't actually know. Isn't it the same weapon, just a different barrel length? Shorter barrel and collapsible buttstock. Oh, yeah, it's the same lower receiver, right? M4 and an M16. That's an M27 IAR. I don't know what the fuck that is, but okay. Somebody said, Vance's head is tilted too much. The stock is basically sitting on his arm and not the small of his shoulder. It's all camo together, bro. I can't even tell. Maybe, I don't know. Looks fine to me. Okay. Don't be a hater. Somebody said, Destiny, that's usually where the buttstock rests when you're wearing a vest with plates. Oh, well, there you go. Bipartisan Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus members gather for annual shooting competition, May 11th, 2016. Top Gun Democrat, Congressman Tim Walz. Top Gun Republican, Congressman Richard Hudson. Top Gun Member of Congress, Congressman Duncan Hunter. Wait, why wouldn't the Top Gun Democrat or Republican be the Top Gun Member of Congress? Or if this guy's a Democrat, does that mean that Tim Walz was just second place? Or... Why do we care if Vance is bad at shooting? Just because it's funny and easy dunk? I don't know. We don't really care. It's just... It's all memes. Tim Walz is a governor. Oh. No, he wasn't in this one, though. It literally says Congressman Tim Walz. This was in 2016.
A bit back to the previous question, if I may just expand on my answer to that. This is a negotiation. It's in part a negotiation where we know certain things, and we know that there was going to be an initiative on automobiles. It was brought forward to yesterday. It was expected around the same time as the reciprocal tariffs on the 2nd of April. Those initiatives, just to be clear, apply to all countries in the world. Right? So it's not unique in and of versus Canada or versus Mexico. We have the best deal of a bad deal, is the way I would term it, within what the Americans have proposed. The second is that we know that there are going to be these reciprocal tariffs, as you referenced in your question, on the 2nd of April, as well as there are potential tariffs, or likely tariffs, I would put it, with respect to other, quote, strategic sectors to the Americans, forestry, lumber, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors. There was a comma after that. I'm sorry. It was a very long set of conditions, but it was to set up the point, which is that we have a number of measures that we can take in response to those initiatives. In our judgment, certainly my judgment, it doesn't make sense when there's a series of U.S. initiatives that are going to come in relatively rapid succession. To respond to each of them, we're going to know a lot more in a week, and we will respond then. And in a negotiation, it doesn't make sense to tip your hand and say what you're going to do going forward. So,
wow. The Trump excuse. Am I just easily entertained, or is this genuinely impressive?
Hi, and welcome to the MT, a series where I spill the tea on why certain musical theater songs work so well from a songwriter's perspective. We're talking about Out There from Hunchback today, one of my all-time favorites. Now, there are a couple things that are really cool about this. One is the key change right in the middle of this song. It's so well written because it serves a purpose. If I was in their skin, I'd treasure every instant out there. So now he's imagining himself out there. It's a perfect key change that takes us to this new wonderful place that he sings about. And then at the very end, as he's singing, won't resent, won't despair, there's these bell tones that are playing underneath it. Won't resent, won't despair, old and bent, I won't care. It's like even as he's singing it, the bells are still pulling him back. And then at the very end, as he's holding out the note on there, we get those low tones. And at the very end, we get moment of freedom. And then...
Wait, I don't understand the question. He seems like a good singer and a piano player and music theory guy. Yeah. I don't know what you're asking me. Is it impressive? It's impressive that he's good at singing and playing piano and everything. Yeah. And teaches, I guess. I'm assuming this is a teacher.
Well, I kept also saying that Kendrick Lamar should apologize for anti-Semitism during the halftime show.
That's funny.
Which I believe. That is not a joke.
Oh, really? What did he say that's anti-Semitic?
They not like us. Well, I kept...
So stupid. Has there been a more clear case of false testimony? She lied under oath. The next day the logs prove she lied. Will she face perjury charges? Queen Tulsi never lied. I'm pretty sure she just honestly said that she couldn't recall. So, fuck this guy. I don't know jack shit about music, so I don't know if it's technically impressive or if it's very simple for people who know more. Once you've achieved like a certain level of proficiency in a given field, then it's like impressive insofar as like you've gotten to that level, but it's like, but for the person, it's trivial at that point once they've trained that much. Like imagine a guy who can bench 405 pounds and then he benches like 315. Is that impressive? Yeah, I mean, a 315 bench is impressive, but like it's, I'm not gonna say it's, well, it's in a way it's kind of trivial for it. Like you can obviously do it fairly easily. Like would it be impressive for him to bench 225? Yeah, that would be impressive depending on body weight and everything. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, but I mean, he can do this thing at this level, of course. Once you hit a certain level, there's a ton of shit that you can just do. It's impressive to train to that level, but yeah, so it's kind of a weird, hard to, yeah. Pete Hegseth has a Russian email. We saw this, or I mentioned this. Woke Putin has run Russia into the ground with one of the highest abortion rates in the world. Lowest church attendance, highest domestic violence, highest divorce rate, and highest alcohol use. This is not a model to emulate. In music, how often do people like consciously plan out the details of a piece? Do they actually plan it out, or do they just write the music and it comes together? That super depends on what kind of music you're writing and what you're writing for, and the type of writer that you are. So for musicals, in general, I would say that you're very intentional about all of that. If you study people that write operas and stuff, there are going to be motifs and lead motifs, many like melodies that repeat themselves, or there's going to be a ton of stuff that is written in a highly intentional way. For film scoring, some people are very intentional. I don't remember the name of the composer that worked in the Lord of the Rings, but like all of that is written incredibly intentional, like huge utilization of leitmotifs and harmony and everything to make you think of certain things. I think we've watched a video on this before. During the Battle of Helm's Deep, maybe? Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find this. Why did I look for this? Well, it might be this dude. But like whenever like certain characters show up on screen, like you get little like references to the characters and the music that represents them. And
back in the middle of a treacherous scene, we still get that, hey, you know what? Everything feels like it's gonna be all right.
This is something that's missing from so much video game music today, I feel, although I don't play a lot of video games, I guess, anymore. And even music writing is the use of motifs and leitmotifs, the idea of like having a melody, a strong melody that you can identify with a particular character. Lord of the Rings did a really good job at that. When you hear a thing and you instantly associate it with a group of people or a character or whatever. It's very annoying that this stuff like disappeared. I don't know why.
There's another one where we can see the different usages in different contexts to call up different emotions. In fact, the first time it's introduced, it's quite dark. The context of this first introduction of the theme is that King Theoden has been corrupted by
Star Wars, the OG one, is amazing at this. True.
Saruman. So what we find is the city in
It's leitmotif? Is it leitmotif? Light. Wait, is that really how it's pronounced? Leitmotif. Leitmotif. Late. I thought it was late or... I don't remember. Fuck me. Hold on. Leitmotif.
Leitmotif.
It is leitmotif. Okay, well, suck my fucking dick. And fuck you. You're banned. You're banned, kiddo. I was doing the British pronunciation.
Edoras.
Okay. We don't need to watch all this. Across the Spider-Verse actually did this pretty well, in my opinion. True. Maybe. I think. No, it did do it really well. I remember. You're right. I remember that. With the Prowler, was that the guy's name? His theme and everything. They did a really good job actually with that. That's true. Oh no. Greenland visit canceled after locals refused to welcome Usha Vance. The U.S. Second Lady had been due to spend several days in Greenland on a cultural visit. I thought they were all so happy to see the U.S. take it over, though. According to Danish TV 2, the representatives from the USA have been going door to door in Nuuk over the past few days to find Greenlanders who wanted to be visited by Usha Vance after they failed to find anyone. The visit was canceled. Oh no. Rip. Peace Guys going on Temple tomorrow? Yeah, we'll try and watch that.
You put all your recommendations on maps that people can download, is that right? Yeah. Because I've travelled quite a lot as well. And I've actually done a sort of handy guide to the whole world just so people can make their minds up about whether they want to go somewhere for a holiday. Starting with the Americas, obviously, you've got big bellies, big bundas, moving Guinness Jews there, and then normal brackets, ugly. Gay, smelly gay, sleepy gay, naughty piggies. No. Moving to the Mediterranean, mainly pedos there. Sleepy pedos, just sort of Greece, snow pedos up there. Then you just cabbage, mainly the cabbage areas. Nice weather, shame about the portion size, it's quite small. Then moving east, wouldn't want to be a woman, anywhere sort of there. Blurry porn over there, not pet friendly, and normal brackets sunny. I do find they can be a bit racist. But
okay. Did you see Pete Hegseth trying to throw an axe and it hitting a drummer? That's an old clip. To be fair to Hegseth, it's crazy how they had this set up. That you would have no protection for if somebody overshoots.
Pete Hegseth. This was a Fox News exclusive. Fox and Friends co-host Pete Hegseth aiming for accuracy and missing.
Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next.
What you didn't see on air is what the axe hit, or should we say who? Drum roll, please. West Point marching band drummer Jeff Prosperi got hammered by the axe while the other band members kept drumming. Ouch! But soon after, Prosperi was being interviewed by the very co-host who'd nailed him.
It's a delight to be here to celebrate. Absolutely.
And an even bigger delight to still have both hands. On his Facebook page, Prosperi posted the cell phone video and called the mishap obvious.
Did I do it right? I hope so. What? I don't know how to do that. That's so unfair.
Wait, what? What did I...
Did I do it right? I hope so.
He shot a thing? I guess he missed him?
What?
There's a flare zone extract there. He didn't do the extract right.
I don't know how to do that.
You shoot the flare to stop the sniper shooting you. You get auto-killed if you don't fire the flare correctly. Oh, like it wasn't a player that killed him, it was a... Do you remember? Who remembers? Who has the clip? Who has it? Are you regretting your defense of Citizens United yet? Cedar guzzled buckets of black cum, but you're guzzling gallons of Elon's cum. No. Citizens United doesn't even have to do with the acquisition of Twitter. The people that are all mauling over it wouldn't even cover this. So what do you mean? Whoa, disarm immediately! Am I getting shot at? Whoa, disarm immediately! Am I getting shot at? Poor Dan. Whoa, disarm immediately! Am I getting shot at? Okay, sorry. Squeaks at home tries Pirate Software's game.
Is this part of the game? I don't... Is it? Go on, continue. Walk to the gear icon. Continue. Somebody clip this. Somebody clip this cat.
What are you supposed to do? Walk to a button and push a... Like
Chat,
a...
I can't refund this game. Please don't. I can't click anything.
Based? Okay. Pirate updated his game so Stream wouldn't put 12 months since last update. It was a 2 megabyte update for credits. Okay. Okay, then explain how Citizens United doesn't help Elon ruin the country. Someone needs to explain this shit and clip it. How can I explain how something doesn't help? There was no law, the campaign finance law that Citizens United overturned, I don't think would have prevented Elon from buying Twitter. It was about how closely to an election you could advertise something without it being illegal. Steam puts a warning message for early access games if it has been updated in a while. If it hasn't been updated in a while. Why are you guys putting so many typos? Why are you typoing so much? Everyone in chat, you're driving me crazy. You're making me feel like a lunatic trying to read your messages. Steam puts a warning message for early access games if it has been updated in a while. You mean if it hasn't been updated in a while? Stop! Why don't I have a grammar mod? All this. Stop. Currently falling off Twitch streamer being scammed by his sponsor.
Marketing.
I'm the most locked in dude that... Holy... Is fucking Starforge Systems in here?
I'm not talking about buying Twitter. That's a separate issue. Elon put $2 million on that judge who's actively saying he's going to gerrymander for Trump. $2 million on... What did he spend it on? Like on political advertising outside of... like direct donations to a candidate? Wisconsin SCOTUS. Oh, he gave them the money. That's what you mean when you say Wisconsin SCOTUS. So he just handed them $2 million? Thank you. Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Are you fucking kidding me? Why don't you guys ship me my PC? These fuckers? Guys, Starforge Systems, why don't you ship the PC expedited shipping? I've been falling off completely because they can't give me the system. That's
Nice dismissal, dipshit. No, what is the law that you would want that would prevent somebody from spending like that? What is the law that you would want? How would you craft it? If you want to craft a new law to make... I don't even know how you would do it. You might even need a constitutional amendment. It's just it's a tricky issue. We have strong free speech protections in the United States. If you want to talk about crafting a law to prevent people from spending money, exercising political speech close to election, I don't even know how you would craft that law without needing an amendment. I'm not sure.
That's my sponsor talking shit to me.
This is how you would craft that law. Thank you. It'd be hard, but that's not an excuse to not do it. Most people do agree it needs handled, though. What? You're not even arguing against any point that I'm making now. Like, bounding that spending somehow, it probably would be a good law. I'm just not sure how you would craft it. But that is something that's a fundamentally separate question from if Citizens United was decided correctly. Normal girls. Oh no. Running with the herd. Jesus, how much does this whole kit weigh? I can't wait for you to say the same thing when current GOP SCOTUS gives Trump unitary exec powers. Definitely, but go off, King. Is it? I'm so curious. Nick's magician. Are you like incapable of like engaging in like analysis where you're like, I wish that something would work this way versus what is legally permissible now? Are you capable of having that in your brain? Can you do those two separate forms of analysis, or is it impossible for you? Can you literally not separate out your emotional feelings about a thing and have that taint your view of every other thing? Is that... This is the running version of that Mad Max guitar guy. I get that it was ruled correctly. Then what the fuck is your problem with my position on it?
It's the same card, you fucking bitch ass. Okay, I'll go black then. Then I'll go fucking red then. And then I'm gonna stay red then, obviously.
This and healthcare are your biggest blind spots, except they're not blind spots at all. They're spots where I feel like we should make decisions that are within the bounds of the law that actually further good outcomes for people. For most people, they're just virtue signal positions that nobody actually gives a fuck about the actual issues themselves. They just virtue signal on the topic to whatever they think the most like socially popular position is, and then they soy the fuck out over it indefinitely.
Then I'm saying red. This is what I didn't do earlier. There you go. Higher. Higher outsider. Higher outsider.
You defend it outside of just the ruling. You pretend money has zero effect on politics. And before you bring up Bloomberg, he was just a dog shit candidate. It only takes like 5% to fuck things up. I feel like this is my feeling. Feel free to link me anything that contradicts this, but I'm pretty sure every single time I've brought it up, I've said almost verbatim, oof, that's a really hard one. I feel like I say that every single time, that the idea of how much should you be able to spend if it's not directly politically related to a particular campaign, like should that speech be stifled prior to an election? What even counts as political speech at that point? It's a really, really, really tough questions. That doesn't mean that I would be against or opposed to every single type of law that might limit that type of spending close to election seasons. I'm sure you could craft some laws that even curb first. I've literally said before that there's probably some free speech things that in the United States that should be looked at a little bit, because obviously we're having a huge problem with it in our fucking social media environment right now. So one, fuck you, you're retarded. Number two, you pretend money has zero effect on politics. I don't think I've ever said money has zero effect on politics. I'm just saying it doesn't have anywhere near the impact that people think it does. Nina Turner had a progressive agenda. She outraised like 2-to-1 her opponent, and she got crushed. Kamala Harris outraised her opponent. She got crushed. Sometimes people outraise their opponent. Sometimes people get more money in donations and they win, not just because they got more money, but because they're more popular, and that's why they got more money. And people get more money because more people supported that person. I think that money can have an impact on politics, but I think that it's way more marginal than people seem to assume it is. We just buy elections, okay? When you just say that people are just buying elections, it's a super retarded, like 4-year-old view of how politics in the United States even works. That's not the impression you give. Maybe you should formally express that, because most of you think you guzzle lobbyist culture. Good, then I'm glad. I don't want those people in my community. Then leave. You shouldn't be in my community. You're not designed for my community. My community's not designed for you. Go watch Hasan or fucking Vosh. You can find tons of people who will regurgitate the same lobbyist bad, lobbyist a billionaire bad. There are so many other people on the internet that have that analysis. If you want that about how evil money is and how evil politicians are and how evil lobbyists are and how billionaires control everything and all, then go watch those people. There's so many of them out there. Go over them. Go watch those people. Jesus.
Outside?
Did you bet red again?
Hearts.
Did he win it all back? Matt Destiny, I feel like we've been doing your position on healthcare for the past 40 years, and the best we got was the ACA, which is dog shit. So I can see why people want a more radical approach. First of all, nobody in the United States has any idea how good other people in the U.S. think their healthcare is. Like, if you were to poll people, most people aren't aware, at least in young crowds on social media, most people are happy with their healthcare in the United States. Even saying that position online makes people's fucking brains explode. So nobody even knows. The most activist dipshits on Twitter or in my chat rooms don't even know what the average American thinks of their own healthcare. Number one. Number two, if you want to have good solutions for healthcare and you want to figure out like how to improve healthcare, you have to talk about what that even means when you say that. Because when people say, I want to improve healthcare, they mean the trifecta of impossibly retarded shit. They want to say, I think we should expand the amount of services available to people. We should make it available to even more people. We should make all of it cheaper. All of this simultaneously. You cannot do all of these things at once. Americans want everything when it comes to healthcare, or at least the Arab people think they can have every single thing when it comes to healthcare. And it's not. You got to make a cut, or you got to make a sacrifice somewhere, and nobody's even willing to have that conversation. It's all fucking retarded. Putin reacts to Trump's serious Greenland plans ahead of Vance visit. Why do I care about this? Read full article. Why did you link me this? Okay. Retarded Canadian here. Doesn't Canada and Europe have this now? No. Nobody has the type of healthcare that Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders styles progressives are advocating for in the United States. Young people in the U.S. have tricked themselves into thinking that every other country in the world, or at least all of the Western countries in the world, have free healthcare, no co-pays, no deductibles, free prescription coverage, and medical and vision and dental, and like latest drugs and affordability for everything. People in America think that everybody else has this, but it's just not true. It's not true. I'm sorry. Hasan break.
Every time I talk about an issue, maybe I'm just bad as a communicator. I'm beginning to recognize that I'm just not a very good communicator, I think, because
What's your rebuttal to the anti-donor argument of once they win, they now have to serve their donors' interests? The donor doesn't get them reelected. The biggest asset they have is their fucking incumbency status. Like, what do you mean? And then also, what's the rule? Are there no more donations to PACs at all? Or there's no more, like, nobody can politically donate? Like, how do you even, what's the rule that you want to craft? Like, somebody mentioned before that, about like sitting on boards of companies after you leave Congress, like for laws outlawing stuff like that, maybe that might be okay. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about that. That might be okay, but
beginning to recognize that I'm just not a very good communicator, I think, because I said exactly those things that you just brought up.
what would be a good rule that would have prevented the Twitter election buyout? I don't think there is, we would, in order to start to approach that, we would have to have a serious conversation about what freedom of speech looks like in the United States. Same thing with lobbyists and Citizens United and all that as well. But Americans aren't ready to have that conversation because Americans are under the... For some reason, Americans think that you can have it all, that you can have infinite rights in some area with no responsibilities and no downsides. The reality is everything you want, there's usually a benefit, there's usually a cost. And then you just try to pick something that's a net win at the end of the day. But nobody ever wants to deal with the downsides of whatever it is they're suggesting, and then it's... At Destiny, we might not have it. However, out of all countries, wouldn't the USA be able to have some type of healthcare based on what Bernie or them is saying? Based on what they're saying, nothing Bernie is saying, no. But I think the United States can do better on healthcare. Yeah, I think we should have at least like a public option or some sort of state-afforded insurance plan. Especially one that, like, yeah, I don't think that cost of healthcare should ever be a barrier to anybody for getting certain types of medical treatments.
I feel like a lot of my commentary revolves around me just having to repeat everything that I've said over and over again, a million times over until, like, you know, people understand. People go, okay, my bad, I misunderstood you.
Destiny, genuinely asking, if the donors don't help get politicians elected, why are the donors donating? They probably think the donations help, but the thing is that people only ever view donations as being, if I'm donating money, it's so that the politician changes and starts to serve my interests. When people never consider it might just be that you're donating to a person who already coincides, or their interests already coincide with yours. There's another word I'm looking for there. Your interests are already aligned. Like, I don't think like AIPAC or whatever are picking politicians who are like anti-Israeli and they're like, we can change them and we can make them pro-Israel. They're probably just picking people that already support Israel, right?
The point I'm trying to make is that, like, whiteness.
How does this Yeet guy have time to watch like streams all day? Doesn't Dan run business? Or shit? Oh fuck! I didn't mean to give that away. What do you think about this abuse? As a percentage, how much do you think lobbyists help? Rough estimate? I don't know. My guess? I don't know. Less than 15%, probably?
What are you doing?
You're crashing out.
I'm not crashing out. You're just making
out.
a lie up to make yourself look stronger. Here's a mistake that you made. You creating a lie sabotaging. Look right there.
Why are you getting loud in my face?
Because I work. Dude, are you serious? Calm down. That's your right.
What is considered a public option? I feel like there hasn't been specific messaging around that Democratic Party policy. Like, would it look like an option to enroll into Medicare as it is now with the same co-pays, deductibles, etc.? Yeah, probably just like an expanded Medicare access for everybody. Maybe you have to pay into it, but it would be cheap, or it would be at least super affordable, and then you would probably mandatory accepted by most places or something like that. Jesus Christ.
Say my name.
Breaking Banquet.
You're goddamn right.
Let me get I need to soy the fuck up.
Chat's right. Wings has to do with punishment.
For what?
What do you mean, for what?
Well, what you implied. Because now even
if you punish me, they're going to believe what I said over what you guys are saying.
Yeah, the team needs sustenance in the form of comedy from
Yes. We don't script anything on the show. We do improv.
Wait, how are people still thin in the age of Ozempic? Or still thick, sorry, fat, my bad. Large, my bad.
Just like the other day when you could see like the tow hook already on the back of the car.
Yes, that was staged, but the Becky stuff wasn't, and that's what they all think now.
That's not even staged. That's just like, all right, we have this car. What can we do with the car?
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, that what I'm saying is they think the Becky situation is the same as the car situation.
It's expensive. If they were on Ozempic, wouldn't they just save the money they spent on food for?
Retarded?
It's like, remember at the meeting, right? When we had the meeting, and he goes, if anyone doesn't get this, they just don't know common sense.
True OGs in you.
have to sit right here.
Much love and respect that can't be taken away. Becky won't ever understand the respect.
Wings sucks.
It's not even about Wings sucks. The whole fact that y'all wanted to script it sucks. Why didn't you just be real?
It was just better to act like her walking in the room was a surprise, right? Which her coming technically was a surprise, right?
The joke was on Super Chat at $26.09.
You just gotta out
on the abuse. Wings your bald boogie you slept with your dad.
What's the point of...
For a little rundown, Wings accidentally leaked something that was scripted. Others were a little frustrated with playing it up, and Wings was legit getting upset, and it builds from there.
Outing everything. Okay, whoa, we changed one little detail just to make it a little bit more entertaining. And then you out everything just to make everything look fake. Like, why?
Because everybody believes everything's fake anyway.
Liz.
Don't worry, nobody ever gets hurt in wrestling. It's all fake. There was one single detail that was changed. That we were surprised that she was here because she said she was coming, and we still didn't think she was coming.
But here's the fact.
Then she did come. We were like, okay, she came. What was she here? 2 hours before the stream started, right?
It was like an hour.
Here's the fact. Before she showed up, Roxy leaked that Lord Rush went to pick her up at the airport.
Oh, wow. Welcome to America. Is the background for my Destiny GG chat, is this black? Or is this a different color? I noticed for my, oh no, wait. I don't know how this HDR bullshit works. When I go on Twitter, on my computer over here, the Twitter background is like super black, like HDR black. But on this computer here, it's not HDR black. But my DGG chat is not HDR black. I have no idea why. It's lighter than the black on Twitter. Oh, okay. That makes sense then. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
We're gonna learn about the world.
Is this making fun of liberals or leftists? It's Bo Burnham. I don't think he's like a ultra heavily political guy. It's more like social-ish commentary. Have you watched Inside? No, I don't know what that is. What does that mean? Uh-oh. Is Ryan Macbeth waking up? Oh my fucking god. Okay, quick random meme question that no one will be able to answer. Except maybe somebody will be able to answer. There's literally no point to me asking this question. On Just Works, if you hire somebody and then you send out the email, but then you realize that it's like a different email, you need to do something different. Is there a way to just like cancel this without having to like schedule like a termination and all this bullshit? Is that possible? Does anybody have any idea? It's so fucking annoying. Destiny, from the USA point of view, what's the difference between Ukraine getting NATO membership and Ukraine having European troops there with a US backstop? Aren't they both tripwires for the US joining a future war via Article 5? My understanding is that Article 5 can only be triggered if your soldiers or your territory is attacked in your territory. I don't believe that Article 5 is triggered if your soldiers are attacked in another country. Wait, we can watch this while I do this. Fuck.
A lot of people asked me to comment on President Zelensky's meeting with President Trump on Friday, February 28th, 2025 at the White House. Look, right now I'm sick. I went to urgent care yesterday. They said it's not the flu and it's not COVID. I'm stuffy, I've been coughing, I have a fever, so maybe I have some advanced genetically engineered Romanian freaking rhinovirus that I brought back to me from Europe. But right now I feel like I've been run over by a dump truck. And the fact is that my latest novel, The Last Republic, is on deadline. It has to get sent to the editor, so I need to get that done. So I'm going to make this quick because I need to get back in bed and die. I titled this video, Are We the Baddies?, after a sketch from that British show, That Michael and Webb Look.
Our caps. The badges on our caps. They've got skulls on them. Are we the baddies?
And this comes at an interesting time because I was just in Poland and Romania visiting NATO sites and talking with NATO members. One of the sites that I visited was JTEC, or the Joint Analysis and Education Center. Our Joint Analysis Training and Education Center. Sorry, I'm still messed up. It is basically a schoolhouse that's founded by NATO, administered by Poland, and run by Ukraine. The whole idea is that Ukraine has learned a lot over the last 3 years from their war with Russia, and their instructors come to Poland to help teach NATO members what they've learned, things about drone warfare, robotics, unmanned systems. It's a really neat school. It's a great idea for a school, and NATO is learning a lot from these Ukrainian instructors. All right. While I was in Poland, I attended an exercise where I watched dudes in ghillie suits attack a trench line. And that seemed to me like one of the stupidest ideas I've ever heard. Like, why are you wearing some hot-ass ghillie suit to attack a trench line? But what the Ukrainians have found is that wearing a ghillie suit not only breaks up your outline while you're moving across the field to hit the trench, it also lowers your thermal profile, so it makes it harder for drones to spot you. And that's something that Ukraine learned the hard way, and that they're sharing with us now that they have this school, this JTEC. Ukraine never really asked for anything more than weapons and ammunition. They have tested their flesh against metal in order to remain free from the yoke of authoritarianism. And at one point during the White House conversation yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance asked if President Zelensky had ever thanked the U.S. for our help. And yes, Ukraine has said thank you. They helped found JTEC. And it's where we get to learn all of Ukraine's lessons to see how we can apply them to the next war.
Just to be clear, they wanted like a personal thank you, a groveling is what they were looking for.
So not only have they thanked us, they've paid us in information. Also, every time Ukraine fires a Patriot missile, that data is going back to the U.S. So we've learned a lot on how to do air defense from incoming theater ballistic missiles just from that. The funny thing is that while this conversation in the White House is going on, I believe while the meeting was taking place, there was a funeral in Ukraine for a young American, a former Marine who went to Ukraine to volunteer, and he lost his life in the fighting. His name was Ethan Hurtrick. And this is how Ukraine says thank you. The real winner in this whole exchange was Russia, who seriously can't believe its luck. I mean, when you are handing content wins to RT, formerly known as Russia Today, you probably need to reevaluate your strategy, right? Kind of the scary thing for me was that my Newsmax colleague, Carl Higbie, posted on Twitter after the exchange saying, "America is so back." And while I respect Carl Higbie, I think it's a rather short-sighted view. Mainly because if America is taking the side of Russia in a conflict, it calls into question all American aid. If America could hold back weapon systems because the president feels slighted or snubbed, or the president, the person the president's speaking to isn't doing what he wants him to do, that could put many weapons programs in danger, such as our sale of the F-35 to India. And
he's dying. It's all over, boys.
The world will be a better, safer place if India has American weapon systems, and with India operating the F-35. But why buy the F-35 from America if just saying the wrong thing to the president could get him to cut off your supply of parts? And I think that's the real takeaway from this interaction. If I were Australia, who just agreed to buy 3 Virginia-class submarines from the U.S. instead of buying some of France's submarines, I would seriously start taking a look at France's submarines again. I mean, yes, ours are quieter, but they come with a fondue machine. I wouldn't want to risk a major defense platform on the whims of a man who was looking for what he called good television, right? One of the things that President Trump said to President Zelensky was, "You're not winning this." And for almost 3 years, I have said there is no win. There is lose, and there is lose more. Russia isn't going to win, and Ukraine isn't going to win. Russia literally can't win because the day the war ends is the day their economy collapses. But if America champions the cause of Russia, or even takes their side or pursues sanction relief for Russia, then that gives Russia a soft landing and they can lose less. And that's about as close to a win as they're going to get. I think the only way Russia can lose less is if America supports Russia. America is supposed to stand for freedom and democracy, not good television. And the people of Ukraine have made it clear that they do not want to live under the control of Russia. And yet we just handed Russia a victory essentially for free. Which begs the question, are we the baddies? If you want to help pay for my funeral expenses, grab the wind machine from Amazon or from Audible. It'll still help keep you busy until The Last Republic comes out. Also grab one of my Rock Out with Your Chalk Out aerosol shirts from Bunker Branding. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go die now.
Rip.
Wow, this.
One of the challenges for the next few years is we have to convince the American public, because the administration, it doesn't matter anymore. So like somebody linked this in chat. Norwegian fuel supplier cuts off U.S. Navy, urges others to join. Haltbach Bunkers. Haltbach Bunkers, a major Norwegian fuel company, has stopped refueling U.S. Navy vessels and is urging European firms to do the same. Like, for the current admin, this is just a win. Because it means, oh, cool, well, we're just not going to waste money sending our Navy anywhere. We're not going to send them anywhere, and that's fine. But I think you just have to give a bunch of W's to the current administration, and then you have to hope that the American people don't want America to just fully withdraw from the entire world stage. Did I watch the Warren Smith video yet? The one that the short one he made about me, the one yesterday? Yeah, we did. He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace. And they shot a fucking video? Why does Trump want to increase defense spending when he's pursuing detent? With China and Russia? I don't know. You're not asking the right, or you're not oriented in the right direction. I don't think there's like a coherent thing. I think we just like say things and then we'll do things. Like they want to cut the Pentagon because smaller budget good, but they want to boost the military because big military good. Even though these things are contradictory, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's not about like what is real or what exists in reality. It's just kind of like saying the things that make people feel good in the moment, and then you just move on to the next thing. So I think that it's probably detente. It's probably a waste of time trying to appeal to the current administration, and you just have to appeal, I guess, to the American people, hopefully. You only need like a few percentage points of people to make the party unviable, right? The Republican Party, that's all you have to do. You don't have to like convince like 50% of them, so. Are you aware of JIT versus AOT compilers? Yeah, but I don't think anybody really uses JIT anymore. The AOT ones are just way more, they're just easier to deploy across an entire network, I think, and have everybody, I don't even know what those mean. Attack on Titan versus JIT. I don't know what either of that is. just in time versus ahead of time. Okay. But convincing the general public means going against all news everywhere at this point. True. We need state governors to step the fuck up. Where's Gavin Newsom? Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of like big things that have to change, and I just don't see. I don't even know if the will to change some of these things exists, so it's hard. Like, I think that Democrats, but like this is so hard because they love this messaging so much, or at least the ones that I see are the progressive. The Democrats need to drop all the weird shit about like the billionaires and the donors. Like, it's not time to cut potential funders out of the party that might align with you in interests. Like, it's so stupid, the fixation on that. And the Jesus, I don't know, man. It's a lot of dumb shit. All the left media that doesn't care about actual elections is fucking stupid. The silence from past presidents is the worst. It makes it seem way more normalized. Past presidents typically don't speak on current things. I believe, did Bush not support Trump in 2016 or was it 2020? And that was considered, I think, a pretty big deal that he said that. Like, I think past presidents just typically aren't involved in current politics. It's just like a norm, basically. But I mean, yeah, they should be now for sure. Deepak interviewed top 10 congressmen and senators the past 2 weeks, Raskin, Warren, etc., and literally none of them have a fucking path forward. I like the Raskin guy. I don't know if he's like a good politician or whatever. I mean, he wins elections, but I just like him because he seems like he knows his shit. But nobody cares about that anymore, so. To be fair, Trump did win on that populism shit. It makes sense why leftists want their own populist message. Maybe a little. I don't know why the right is more, but it's more than just the populism though. It's all the crazy shit on top of it.
Watch this guy.
How long ago was his interview with Raskin? I'm just curious. Because we watched Brian Tyler Cohen interview him. Leftists have much better propaganda than center-left liberals, and they can harness populism much like Trump does. Yeah, but they don't, like... It doesn't translate electorally, like, anywhere. Like, where are all of our communist socialist fucking candidates winning elections? I think countering the Putin just wants peace narrative is an important one. Maybe going over all the different peace agreements that he's... But these people don't care about the facts. That's the difficult thing. Like, what do I... Like, every time it's like, oh, well, we just need to show them all of these things in the past. Like, they won't believe in any of it, right? Or they only need... Remember, on the conspiracy brain on the right, they only need one thing. They can be wrong on 19 things. They only need one right thing, and that's it for them. And then on the other side can be right about 19 things and wrong on one thing, and that's enough for them to discount it. Like, there's something else going on. Yeah.